Hello, this is Rose from The Perfect Rose, and I have wanted to share this story with you for the longest time. I want to share with you how I manifested the ability to pay for and to be trained with Doreen Virtue in 2002 for the Angel Therapy Certification course, and in 2003 for the Mediumship and Mentorship program with Doreen Virtue as well. I'd have to say that Doreen wasn't really famous yet. It didn't feel that she was at that time. I had one of her books, the original Angel Therapy book. It has a pink cover and one of her decks of cards, The Healing with the Fairies, at the time that I went to see her in Toronto, Ontario. To my knowledge, she hadn't been doing big Hay House speaking events yet, and this event was one that was held by the Learning Annex. For about 5 years prior to this event, I had been totally immersed in deep spirituality, from doing deep personal work on myself to taking many classes and workshops during that 5-year period and for a few years after this pivotal event. Prior to that, all of my studies were on my own, from grade school playing with various meditation practices to the tarot at the age of 15, learning about numerology and astrology and the power of the mind. I'd come across some great teachings from the Unity Church, and I started to study a series of books called Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. It was a series of books about 11 men who in 1894 went on a journey to the Himalayas and met with highly spiritual beings, masters, who shared some pretty amazing information and teachings with these men. One of the suggestions being about the use of the tarot, and that because there are some very negative looking cards in the tarot, that one must be very careful that when they are doing a reading for a person, this person could take these negative images into their subconscious mind, and this may affect them in an adverse manner. I read this, and at the time was very deeply into my healing journey and was learning about healing energies and the power within all of it. I also loved some of the various decks of cards I had and wanted to still be able to use them. So I prayed for a solution, and I asked God to lead me to the highest possible reading I could do to assist people, because I still so much enjoyed the idea of the cards and assisting others in that way. I have to say, when I saw Doreen in Toronto, I knew that what she was doing was what I had been preparing for my whole life. She stood in the front of the group and shared various teachings about the angels, and during this brief workshop, she handed out a purple sheet of paper. On this purple sheet was the opportunity to take her Angel Therapy course, or ATP, in Laguna Beach, California. It was a 5-day course, and the cost was $1,500 US. She stood at the front of the room and said a brief prayer and said that if we were meant to take the course, that it would be clear to us and all of the doors would open, and if we were not meant to take the course, that this was all right as well. I remember coming home that day, and I brought the sheet home and placed it on my dining room table. The next day, I expressed to my spiritual teacher at the time that I knew that what Doreen was doing was what I was meant to do. My teacher was like, "Okay." And I said, "I know you think I'm being silly, but really, I am meant to be doing what she's doing." We ended the conversation, and I let it all go. I left the sheet on the table as a reminder to myself and the universe that this was not going to be fully put away, so that I am reminded that it was something I was wishing to do. I can't fully remember the amount of time that passed from the event until what I'm about to tell you, but I have to say that what I'm telling you now is pretty cool. One day after my mate left for work and before I was getting ready for work, I played with my deck of fairy cards. The new opportunity card popped out of the deck and the purple sheet flew off the table. While the sheet flew off the table, I heard a voice tell me that I should talk to my manager at the time, whose name was Rob, and he would inform me that my work was going to assist in paying for the course to work with Doreen. I shook my head and proceeded to get ready for work and asked the universe to see him as soon as I arrived. I worked at a casino at the time, and we had been given a $1,500 a year bursary so we could further our education and improve our ability to move up within the company. I had never thought I would have ended up using that bursary because I was happy with what I was doing and knew that one day I would be doing my spiritual work full time. I didn't know when, but I just knew that this would happen. I arrived at work, and guess who met me at the entrance to my work? He was coming outside while I was going inside. You guessed it, Rob, my manager. I just knew I would see him. I looked at him and said, I asked to speak to you. He said, who did you ask? I looked up and reminded him who he was talking to and smiled and said, something is telling me that this course I'm interested in may be paid for by my work, and I would be able to use my $1,500 bursary to do it. Is it true? Rob said, to be honest with you, Rose, I am just coming from a meeting and we have just changed policies and procedures. It was just decided today that we want our employees to be happy. So we have decided that it is okay for you to use your bursary for anything you want to use it for, and not just for courses that are related to the job you are doing. I have to admit the bursary was in Canadian funds at the time, and I think it was 60 cents Canadian to a US dollar. But that was such a clear sign to me that I was meant to take that course, so I took it, and I'm so glad I did. It was a very good experience for me, and I used the knowledge that I acquired from that course and mixed it with my own work and made it my own. I am sharing this with you because I feel that it's important for people to realize that if something is really for your good, especially for your growth as a spiritual being, that the universe will assist you in acquiring that thing. It will find the easiest way to get it to you. I didn't have to suffer or ask Doreen to give me a deal. I just had to ask, and the universe found the best way to assist me in paying for the course, and the rest is history. I have a wish for some of my clients that come to my website and are a bit undecided and are wondering if it is in their best interest to work with me. Perhaps they have a fear of some sort, or they are afraid to spend money to invest in themselves, and or even afraid that their spouse would find out. I'm telling you this because I have known this for quite some time, that if you are meant to work with me, the universe will make it possible to happen. You will get the time off. You will get the babysitter. You will be able to afford the rates I'm charging in the time that is needed. You won't have to suffer, and I won't have to shift the way the work is needed to be done to accommodate that fear, because in truth, that is not a win-win situation. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. There are always special circumstances. But if you keep saying that this can't happen, or you don't have enough time, support, or money, then it will never happen, because you just said that it is not possible, so the universe will agree with you and make it not possible to happen. I have decided to make another video, especially for the people who are drawn to work with me, or even the ones who are unsure because they have had a bad experience before or something like that. If it's for your highest good to work with me, and you do what is suggested in the video, I am sure the universe, God, your higher self, will make it possible for it to happen. Sometimes the ability to make it possible comes in another way. Maybe you get some of the other things that you normally require on sale, or are led to a lottery ticket and win the right amount. Someone just shows up and gives you money, the right amount, of money. Maybe a person offers to babysit for you that you would never have thought would offer. Perhaps you get an unexpected day off of work that makes it possible to come, or you even receive a check in the mail and a time slot opens. Anything is possible when you ask for it and when you really require the assistance. If you feel that you would like to experience manifesting and some of the steps toward it happening, please watch the video titled The Perfect Rose Prayer and Invocation to Manifest Your Spiritual Growth. Here you will see and experience the special steps and prayer or invocation for you to manifest working one-on-one with me, experience the various tools I have created, or participate in some type of group work and or audio programs I have created. May this be for your highest and best good. Lots of love, Rose.
Remember to subscribe and watch the suggested video.